My second claim against social media is the way that it inhibits intrinsic well-being in favor of developing dependency needs. The first data set considered is published by News Medical Life Sciences, written by Dr. Sanchari Senyadutta, PhD, titled Digital Nutrition: How Social Media Consumption Affects Our Mental Diet. In this data set, it states that online exposure of 1 to 2 hours daily could benefit children and adolescents. That sounds good. However, negative effects are more likely in cases where social media usage overshadows other activities that promote well-being. A second data set published by Lee Health, Are You Addicted to Social Media?, shows a 2019 survey that found 40% of online users in the US between ages 18 to 22 reported feeling addicted to social media. Paul Simeon, PhD and medical director of the Behavioral Health Department at Lee Health, stated the overdependence on social media has led to symptoms typically associated with substance use disorder. And I think what we're going to see here is a dopamine loop can become ingrained in an individual, which makes it necessary for something outside of their everyday life to provide happiness via psychological dependence on social media. And this is warranted. Based on this data, it's clear that our mind can be altered by excessive use of social media, and one of the problems is that it inhibits our well-being and creates this psychological dependence. The primary concern is, in my mind, the dependency need. The fact that the means of this dependency are coming from the internet or social media might even be a secondary concern, because it's how it's affecting us as a people, resulting in these addictive behaviors. Now, the way our brain chemistry works is to grow accustomed to the buzz, the ding, the bright light when we get these things, it makes us feel really good. They've texted me back, I have to look at it right away. I can't set my phone down while I'm driving. It's the first thing I look at when I wake up. It's the last thing I look at before I go to bed. I carry it with me throughout every room of the house. I think that we've become victims of the ding of our phones. And these dependency needs generated by social media, while they may not be classified as a Schedule I substance defined in the Controlled Substance Act, it activates many unhealthy behavioral pathways in our brains nonetheless. And the danger here is not social media alone, but that these pathways could be evidence that an addictive trait or behavior has formed, leaving a developing person prone to developing additional dependency needs. These needs are not going to develop in some sort of slippery slope. Like, the risks are not the slippery slope, but that an individual should be assigned a risk status that's typically relevant to how we might expect them to cope during times of great stress, grief, or instability. The increased risk of having dependency needs has a positive correlation with personal tragedy. When something bad happens, what are they going to turn to now that social media may not be enough to help soothe them? And another impact is habituation, that the dangers of addiction are not only how things can get worse for someone, but also how it has already disturbed the well-being of a balanced life. Addiction will prevent you from enjoying the things that you're naturally drawn towards by promoting bad habits while inhibiting good habits. It's not always so bad what's actually happening, but it's the things that it's preventing us from doing. There's not much room for life when you have addiction.